Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're taking a deep dive into the mind of a really remarkable entrepreneur.
Yeah, someone who built a billion-dollar empire by 30, hosts one of Europe's top podcasts, Steven Bartlett.
Exactly. We're digging into his book, The Diary of a CEO, The 33 Laws of Business and Life.
And our mission today really is to cut through the noise, pull out the key insights from these
Think of
principles.
it as your shortcut, yeah. Understanding these surprising, often kind of counterintuitive rules for success.
Both personal and professional life. We'll look at mastering yourself, telling stories, philosophy, building teams.
It's quite a scope. Prepare for some fresh perspectives, maybe rethink a few things you thought you knew. So what's this all mean for you? Let's find out.
Okay.
Right, starting with mastering your inner world. Stephen Bartlett kicks us off with Law 1. Fill your 5 buckets in the right order. What are these 5 buckets and why the specific order?
So the 5 buckets are knowledge, skills, network, resources, and reputation. But what Bartlett really hammers home is that knowledge and skills, they're the bedrock, the absolute foundation.
Right.
He argues they're the only two that any such professional earthquake can never empty.
Interesting phrasing. So networks, resources, even reputation, they can shift.
Exactly, they can be volatile. But your knowledge, what you can do, that stays with you.
So it's about building this unshakable base first. And then the other things, network, resources, reputation, they kind of grow from that naturally.
That's the idea. It's building a resilient personal foundation, something that genuinely empowers you long term.
Right. Not just accumulating stuff, but building something lasting.
Precisely. And, building that often involves really internalizing what you learn, which leads nicely into law too.
Which is?
To master it, you must create an obligation to teach it.
Okay. This one definitely resonates. It echoes that Yogi Bhajan quote, right? Learn by reading, understand by writing, master by teaching.
Exactly. Bartlett shares his own story here. At 21, he committed to posting a daily tweet or video.
Creating a sort of social contract.
Yeah, putting skin in the game. And the psychology behind it is fascinating. It taps into loss aversion.
We're more motivated to avoid losing something than we are to gain something.
Right. So by making it public, he created something he didn't want to lose: credibility, consistency. He talks about a revised Feynman technique.
Which is?
Learn it, simplify it, like distill it down to its essence, maybe 140 characters, and then share it consistently.
That act of simplifying forces real understanding.
It proves you get it. It's a really powerful, actionable way to accelerate learning for anything, really. A new skill, prepping for a meeting.
Yeah, definitely something you can apply immediately. Now, Law 3, you must never disagree. That sounds challenging, maybe impossible.
It does sound extreme, yeah. And the story behind it is quite personal for Bartlett. He talks about watching his mom shouting at his dad, who was oblivious.
Okay.
And how he kind of unconsciously adopted that same I disagree approach in his own relationship, which didn't end well.
So it's not about never having a different view. It's about the way you express it.
Exactly. That's the crucial distinction. Healthy conflict works against a problem. Unhealthy conflict works against each other.
Okay, that makes sense.
And there's research, sure it's work, showing that starting with disagreement literally kind of freezes the other person's brain, makes them shut down.
We see that all the time, right? Politics, climate change debates, facts just bounce off sometimes.
Yeah. So the strategy isn't to pretend you agree. It's to avoid leading with, I disagree, or you're wrong.
Instead.
Find some common ground first. Acknowledge something you do agree on, then introduce your point.
So for you listening, the question becomes, how can you get heard more effectively? Business, personal life.
Yeah, the idea is your words should be bridges, not barriers.
Bridges to comprehension, not barriers to connection. I like that. This flows really well into Law 4. You do not get to choose what you believe. That's a bold statement.
It is pretty striking. Bartlett uses this intense thought experiment to illustrate it.
The one with the terrorist.
Yeah. Holding a gun to a loved one, demanding you believe he's Jesus Christ. Could you genuinely choose to believe it?
Probably not, no matter the pressure.
And his survey showed 98% agreed they couldn't. Yet, most people, 85.7% in his survey, initially think we choose our beliefs.
So he's challenging that fundamental assumption.
Directly. He argues beliefs do change, but not through sheer willpower. They change because of new, convincing evidence.
Like how society's views on smoking changed,
Mhm.
or even older things like crop circles.
Exactly. Or his water into wine experiment example. 77% were convinced by seeing it happen. It's about the evidence we find credible, subjectively.
Right, like flat earthers don't trust NASA photos because they don't trust the source.
Precisely. So how do beliefs actually change then? He gives practical ways. First-party evidence is huge, experiencing it yourself.
Like his own stage fright.
Yeah, it only went away when he kept getting up on stage and getting positive feedback. Experience changed the belief. Like Dale Carnegie said, do the thing you fear.
And keep on doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And the other method,
Detailed self-review. Getting someone to explain the nuts and bolts of why they believe something. Studies show this often reduces their conviction, even for deep-seated beliefs.
So for you listening, this is really interesting. Those limiting beliefs you might have about yourself. You didn't choose them, but they aren't fixed.
Exactly. They're malleable. Understanding that gives you a path to growth. Actively seek out and trust new evidence about yourself.
Okay, so if beliefs are shaped by evidence, how do we stay open to new, maybe even weird evidence that challenges what we currently believe? That brings us nicely to Law 5. You must lean in to bizarre behavior.
Sounds potentially messy.
Yeah, not chaos, but maybe controlled chaos.
Yeah.
It's presented as a vital strategy for staying relevant. Bartlett points to history.
Examples.
Oh, yeah. The music exec dismissing digital music, Clifford Stoll famously dismissing the internet in '95, the bank president on cars in 1903, Steve Ballmer laughing off the iPhone.
Right, people who leaned out and got it spectacularly wrong. It sounds like arrogance, refusing to learn. Well, it can be. But Bartlett suggests it's often deeper cognitive dissonance. It's uncomfortable to be wrong.
Because new facts might shake up our identity. We'd rather be dead than wrong, as he puts it.
Something like that. He contrasts it with his own success leaning into Web3 with Third Web when others were skeptical. Huge valuation resulted.
So innovation is inherently weird, unconventional.
By definition, Rory Sutherland points out new things challenge ego, status quo.
And with change accelerating, the temptation to lean out, to dismiss the weird, will only grow.
Exactly. So the advice is run towards the uncomfortable ideas. Adopt the Shimon Peres solution. Maybe two conflicting ideas can both be true, because avoiding risk might be the biggest risk of all now.
Okay, let's shift gears. Section 2, the story influencing others. Law 10 is a great one. Useless absurdity will define you more than useful practicalities. How can uselessness be defining?
Well, this comes with a brilliant anecdote from Bartlett's early days, his first big marketing company. Huge valuation. Didn't need a sales team. Why? Because of a 13,000-pound massive blue slide they installed in the office.
A slide. Seriously?
Seriously. He says journalists, media, everyone wanted to photograph it. That slide shouted the company's values different, young, disruptive, innovative, louder and more effectively than any ad campaign.
So it wasn't the function, it was the symbol, the sheer memorability.
Exactly. He gives other examples too. The fancy gym with a 100-foot climbing wall almost nobody uses, but it implies we have everything.
Or Tesla's karaoke, or the farting mode. Generates way more buzz than practical features sometimes.
Right. It challenges normal marketing ROI thinking. People share absurdity, things that poke fun at the status quo. It's hard to measure, but embracing the illogical can make you unforgettable.
Normality gets ignored. Absurdity sells.
Okay.
And cutting through the noise,
Yeah.
that leads us straight to Law 11. Avoid wallpaper at all costs.
Yeah, this is all about attention. Our brains have this habituation filter.
We tune out the constant, the unchanging, the unimportant.
Yeah. Even extreme things, eventually, like Aaron Ralston, the guy who cut off his own arm, or descriptions from Holocaust survivors. The brain adapts to tune out even horror if it's constant.
It's a survival thing. And he links this to semantic satiation.
Yeah, when a word gets used so much it loses meaning, like revolutionary in marketing, just becomes background noise, wallpaper.
So how do you cut through the wallpaper?
Emotive words work. Warning. Threatening or animated faces and thumbnails get more clicks. Anything that breaks the pattern. He even notes how hit songs that rocket up charts often fade faster. Habituation again.
And he had a personal realization about this with his podcast.
Huge one. His standard like and subscribe plea. Total wallpaper. He changed it.
To what?
A promise of future reward. Subscribe and you'll get bigger guests. Subscriber rate jumped 430%, outpacing Joe Rogan's channel growth at the time.
Wow. Okay, so the big question for you is, how do you make your message resonate, cut through? It seems great marketing isn't always safe or comfortable.
No, it often demands an opinion, it changes shape, it grabs attention actively.
Which is a perfect lead-in to Law 12, You must piss people off.
He points to that trend in publishing, right? All those self-help books with swear words in the title.
Like Mark Manson's subtle art.
Exactly. It's a deliberate tactic, cuts through the noise, avoids that semantic satiation we just talked about.
It really doubles down on that core marketing idea. Make people feel something. Indifference is the enemy.
Totally. Indifference is the least profitable outcome. He quotes a clothing brand founder saying something like, "We have to be ready to piss off 80% to really connect with 20%.
Being slightly disruptive generates strong reactions, love and hate. Both are better than being ignored.
Yeah, so connecting that for the listener, it means being bold, having a viewpoint. Don't shy away from potentially alienating some people if it means passionately connecting with others.
Okay, let's move on to Law 13. Shoot your psychological moonshots first. What's a psychological moonshot?
It's about creating massive perceived value with surprisingly small changes. Bartlett starts with his hairdresser.
The hairdresser story.
Yeah, doing this fake one last snip at the end of the haircut. Didn't actually cut anything, but clients perceived the haircut was better because of it.
Ah, okay. So that's the moonshot. A small investment in perception yields a huge perceived return, often cheaper than changing reality.
Exactly. Uber is his prime example. The whole company basically started by tackling the psychological frustration of not knowing when your cab will show up.
Right. They use specific psychological principles, like the peak end rule. We remember the peak in the end, not the average.
Yep. And idleness aversion keep people busy, like tracking the car on the map, makes them happier, boosts satisfaction, retention.
Operational transparency, too. Knowing what's happening, even if it's bad news, like a delay, is less stressful than uncertainty. Kamino's pizza tracker, right?
Or the Shinkansen train cleaners in Japan, that 7-minute miracle. And the goal gradient effect, we speed up as we near a goal, so showing the car getting closer on the map works.
He even mentions things like the closed door button in elevators that often doesn't work, but gives an illusion of control. Or menthol in soap, making it tingle, implying it's working.
So the key question for you is, where can you make small tweaks that dramatically improve the perception of your product or service? Focus on shaping perception, because often our truth is the story we choose to believe.
Which leads, kind of surprisingly, to Law 14. Friction can create value. Making things worse helps.
It sounds totally backwards, right? But yeah, sometimes making the experience slightly harder or less convenient actually increases desire or perceived value.
Like Red Bull.
Exactly. The slightly unpleasant taste helped convince people it must contain powerful, effective ingredients. It worked because it wasn't smooth and easy.
And the Betty Crocker cake mix. Adding friction by making people add an egg.
Made the bakers feel more involved, more valuable. Sales took off. Or restaurants serving steaks sizzling on a hot stone.
Seems inconvenient.
But it gives the customer control, reduces perceived wait time, keeps them engaged. Or those travel websites that deliberately slow down the search.
To make it feel more thorough.
Yeah. Leads to more sales. It taps into our irrationality.
So understanding customer psychology, even the weird parts, can unlock unexpected value. Value is perception. Sometimes the illogical move is the smart move.
Absolutely. Now, shifting slightly, Law 17, let them try and they will buy. This feels more intuitive for sales.
Maybe, but the psychology behind it is powerful. Bartlett uses his niece and nephew getting Christmas gifts.
Right. They loved the gifts they received, even if they wouldn't have chosen them in a store. Why?
The endowment effect.
Yeah.
We overvalue things simply because we possess them.
Yeah, there's classic research backing this up. The lottery ticket study, people wouldn't trade their ticket even for one with better odds sometimes. Or the Duke basketball tickets.
Winners valued their tickets like 14 times higher than non-winners were willing to pay.
Exactly. He suggests it has evolutionary roots, risk aversion in early trade. Don't give up what you have.
So for you listening, how could you use this? Let customers touch it, try it, test drive it. That sense of temporary ownership is potent.
Yeah, through the lens of ownership, the ordinary becomes extraordinary.
And making an immediate impact. That brings us right back to attention. Law 18. Fight for the first 5 seconds.
Bartlett really practices this. He talks about opening his speeches, no intro, no warm-up.
Just bam, straight in with the emotional words his mom said when he dropped out of university. Provocative.
Exactly. Those first 5 seconds are critical. The audience's habituation filter is deciding, are you wallpaper or worth listening to?
He connects it to Mr. Beast on YouTube.
World's biggest YouTuber, right, attributes his success largely to the hook in the first 5 seconds. A clear, compelling promise, something that makes you go WTF and stops you scrolling.
He uses that Jenny scenario trying to get the attention of someone broken down, stressed, in the rain. Your message has to be that compelling.
And attention spans are shrinking. That Microsoft study, 12 seconds down to 8, Johan Hari's stolen focus, it's a real issue.
Bartlett even tested this on his own video. Small tweak to the first 5 seconds.
150% viewership increase. 3 million views in a week.
Wow. So every interaction, every piece of content, it's a battle for attention. Forget the slow buildup. Design those opening moments to be gripping.
Magnetic, engaging, maybe even annoying, but not ignorable. Attention is the ultimate currency.
Okay, let's move into the third section. The philosophy, guiding principles. Starting with Law 19, you must sweat the small stuff. Isn't that the opposite of what entrepreneurs are usually told? Focus on the big picture.
It often is, yeah. But Bartlett argues his podcast's huge success wasn't just big guests or great questions. It was obsessing over thousands of small details.
Like what?
Playing a guest's favorite music when they arrive, getting the room temperature just right, A/B testing titles with AI, hiring data scientists, AI for translations, data-driven guest booking, tiny things adding up.
It sounds like the Kaizen philosophy. Toyota's continuous small improvements.
Exactly. He mentions the NUMMI plant example, how Kaizen turned a failing U.S. auto plant into a top performer using the same workers and equipment just by changing the philosophy to focus on small incremental gains.
It's that 1% better idea. Small actions, almost invisible day to day, but they compound massively over time.
Yeah. So the takeaway for you is don't just chase the big breakthroughs. True greatness is often built from hundreds, thousands of tiny details done right. Look for the small improvements today.
And that commitment to improvement naturally involves bumps in the road. Law 21.
You must outfail the competition.
Right. He quotes the old IBM boss, Watson Sr. An employee makes a $600 K mistake.
And Watson says he won't fire him because he just spent $600 K training him. Failure is education.
Exactly. The core idea, failure is feedback. It's knowledge. It's power. If you want more success, you actually need to increase your failure rate.
He uses Booking.com as an example.
Yeah, they started basic, failed constantly through rapid experimentation, like 1,000 experiments a day now. That's how they learned what customers wanted and dominated the market. And Jeff Bezos at Amazon. The fail faster religion.
Failure and invention are inseparable twins. Bezos stresses that huge wins, like AWS, come from betting against the grain and pay for lots of smaller failures.
Bartlett distinguishes between type 1 and type 2 decisions here, right?
Crucial distinction. Type 1, irreversible, high stakes. Type 2, reversible, lower stakes. Big companies often treat everything like type 1, which slows them down, makes them risk-averse.
He tells that story about the client whose son's business grew faster than the dad's.
Because the son embraced a much higher failure rate, more trust, speed, empowerment for those type 2 decisions. The advice: aim for maybe 51% certainty on type 2, then decide quickly and move on.
So, for you listening,
Yeah.
are you playing it too safe? Is avoiding failure actually holding back innovation? Faster experimentation usually wins.
Which requires facing reality even when it's uncomfortable. Which leads to Law 23. Don't be an ostrich.
Sticking your head in the sand.
Yeah.
Uses the Titanic example.
Yeah, pretty chilling. Passengers were initially calm, in denial, even as the ship was sinking. Crew had to physically force them into lifeboats.
That's the ostrich effect. Avoiding inconvenient truths because they cause discomfort. Like not checking your bank balance, avoiding tough conversations, skipping doctor visits.
And it has real costs: financial losses, health problems. He mentions women being less likely to get checkups after a colleague's cancer diagnosis. Avoidance.
In business, it can be fatal. Kodak, Nokia, Blockbuster. Companies that ignored uncomfortable truths.
Near Isle's insight is interesting here, too. We're often motivated more by avoiding discomfort than seeking pleasure. Distraction is the easy escape.
Bartlett says his biggest regrets aren't failures, but the uncomfortable decisions he didn't make.
Yeah. He offers a 4-step process to combat this. Identify the discomfort, inspect it, like a detective, maybe get help, speak your truth, own it, don't blame, and get to reality.
The core message seems to be, long-term success requires getting good at facing uncomfortable truths, fast, because ignoring them just guarantees an uncomfortable future.
And embracing discomfort, even pressure, links perfectly to Law 24. You must make pressure your privilege.
Starts with that great Billie Jean King quote, right? Pressure is a privilege. It only comes to those that earn it.
Yeah, Bartlett found that framing really liberating. Pressure comes before privilege. A life without pressure lacks purpose.
And there's that fascinating University of Wisconsin study.
Huge study, 30,000 adults. High stress only significantly increased death risk for people who believed stress was harmful.
Wait, so if you had high stress but didn't think stress was bad for you?
You had the lowest risk of dying in the study. Your belief about stress was more important than the stress itself.
Wow. And the Harvard study. Reframing physical stress signs, pounding heart is helpful for performance.
Made people less anxious, more confident, perform better. So the goal isn't to eliminate pressure, it's to change your relationship with it.
Frame it as voluntary, meaningful, something you have control over.
He also connects it to Gary Brecka's idea of the comfort crisis. We avoid all the good stresses. Our bodies need temperature changes, physical exertion. Brecka says, aging is our aggressive pursuit of comfort.
So for you listening,
Yeah.
how are you framing your challenges? Is comfort your enemy in the long run? Maybe choose the challenge for growth.
And thinking about potential challenges proactively leads us to Law 25, the power of negative manifestation.
Sounds gloomy, but it's actually strategic. It starts with Bartlett's failed startup, Wallpark.
Yeah, lost $2 million.
Mhm.
He realized later he might have avoided it by asking one simple question beforehand. Why will this idea fail?
A question apparently only 6% of founders ask. Why not?
Human biases get in the way. Confirmation bias, overconfidence, sunk cost fallacy, planning fallacy, bandwagon effect. We want to believe it will work.
He used this himself with his podcast network idea.
Yes. Initial meeting, everyone's enthusiastic. Then he asks, okay, why is this a bad idea? Why will it fail?
Yeah.
Floodgates opened. Limited talent pool, unreliable hosts, economic worries, luck factor. They realized the flaws and unanimously decided to scrap it.
Which turned out to be the right call.
Massively. Focusing on their existing podcast led to huge growth. He introduces the pre-mortem method here.
From Gary Klein. Imagine the project has already failed, then figure out why.
Exactly. Outline the plan, imagine failure, brainstorm reasons why it failed. Do this independently first. Share, discuss, then make contingency plans.
This isn't just for business, is it? You could use it for big life decisions, career moves, relationships.
Absolutely. Find the red flags before you commit. Prevention is better than cure.
Okay, thinking about value leads to Law 26. Your skills are worthless, but your context is valuable. That sounds harsh. Skills are worthless.
Yeah, it's provocative. But the point is, skills don't have intrinsic value. Their value is determined by what someone is willing to pay for them, which depends entirely on the context.
He explains this through his own experience after stepping down as CEO.
Right. He got into psychedelics, randomly got offered a marketing leadership role at a biotech firm. The compensation offer blew his mind like 10 times what he expected.
Why so high?
4 lessons he learned. 1, skills have no set value. 2, context dictates value. 3, rarity matters. His marketing skills were rare in biotech. 4, value is based on what you can generate for others. Potential huge IPO.
He uses the Joshua Bell example, too, the famous violinist playing in the subway.
Perfect illustration. World-class musician, $3.5 million violin, playing complex Bach, earns $52. Same skill, different context, concert hall versus subway, vastly different perceived value.
And his graphic designer friend who moved to Dubai.
Went from earning $35K in the UK to $450K, forecasting over $1 million by applying the same design skills to luxury and blockchain clients in a different market. Same skill, new context, huge value jump.
So the question for you is,
Yeah.
are you in the right context? Could your existing skills be way more valuable somewhere else? Are you underselling yourself?
It's a powerful reframing, thinking strategically about where your skills have the most leverage.
And speaking of leverage, let's talk about leveraging time. Law 27, the discipline equation. Death, time, and discipline. Heavy stuff.
Yeah, it tackles our difficulty truly grasping our own mortality and the finiteness of time. He mentions death reflection exercises.
Like imagining dying in a fire. Sounds grim, but the research shows benefits.
Apparently, yes. Increased gratitude, life satisfaction, motivation, kindness, reduced anxiety, facing mortality, clarifies priorities.
Yeah, he uses that poker chips analogy for time, right?
Very effective. Imagine each hour of your life as a poker chip. If you're 30, you maybe have 400,000 left, give or take. You spend one every hour. You don't know exactly how many you have.
Makes time feel very tangible, very precious. And then he breaks down where the chips go: sleep, work, social media, eating.
Right. To show how few hours are actually left for the truly meaningful things, it echoes Steve Jobs' Stanford speech.
Remembering I'll be dead soon is the most important tool for making big choices.
Exactly. Then he introduces the discipline equation. Discipline isn't just willpower, it's a calculation.
Based on what?
3 things. 1, how much you value the goal. 2, how rewarding the process of pursuing it is. 3, how costly or annoying the process is.
So you can tweak the equation.
Yeah. Make the goal clearer. Visualization helps value. Make the process more engaging, like his DJing, putting equipment out. Reduce the cost friction, like his fitness blockchain WhatsApp group, making gym going social and accountable.
So for you listening, how consciously are you spending your chips? Is your goal valuable enough? Is the process engaging? Can you lower the barriers? Discipline is sustainable when the equation works.
Being selective with your time and who you spend it with, that's real self-respect.
Right. Now let's get into the final section. The team. Leading and collaborating. Kicking off Law 28. Ask who, not how. Sounds like delegation on steroids.
Pretty much. He uses Richard Branson as an example. Branson admits he doesn't do the figures for Virgin. He finds someone who can.
Bartlett applied this himself.
Yeah, acknowledging he wasn't great at maths or operations, he delegated those things ruthlessly and focused on his strengths, communication, vision.
Jimmy Carr's joke fits here. School trains us to be all-rounders, but the world rewards specialists.
Exactly. Lean into what you're naturally good at. Business, Bartlett argues, is fundamentally about people. A CEO's top job. Hire the best who's and create a culture where they thrive. Make 1 + 1 = 3.
He mentioned Sir Alex Ferguson's leadership style.
Knowing his players inside out, not just tactics, but understanding their personalities, motivations, even their granddad's favorite drinks. Deep understanding of people.
So you don't have to do everything yourself. The key question is, who can help you fill the gaps so you can focus on your strengths?
And building that team effectively brings us to Law 30, the 3 bars for building great teams. This gets into incentives and culture.
Yeah, he talks about misaligned incentives. Leaders say they want innovation, risk-taking.
But the actual incentives, fear of failure, no reward, being too busy, often encourage just doing the bare minimum. Do your job, no less, no more.
He stresses the importance of removing bad apples, too, using Ferguson again.
Yeah, Ferguson's willingness to ditch huge stars, Beckham, Keane, Van Nistelrooy, if they threatened the team culture or became complacent, protecting the collective.
Other leaders echo this. Barbara Corcoran, GE's CEO.
Saying the cost of one bad apple is losing many good ones. Misconduct is contagious. The tough truth, Bartlett says, is no one person leaving a good company kills it, but sometimes one person staying can.
Ouch. So for you leading a team or even part of one, protecting the culture is paramount. Incentivize what you want and make tough calls when needed.
Because a company is just a group of people, and leading that group requires Law 31, leverage the power of progress.
Ah, the British cycling story. Sir David Brailsford and marginal gains.
Incredible turnaround story. Obsessing over tiny 1% improvements everywhere, antibacterial gel, bike seats, pillows.
Transformed them from laughingstock to dominating the Olympics. 57% of gold medals in 2008.
Brailsford's key insight. People crave a feeling of progression. Aim for small, steady gains, not instant perfection. Small changes stick and build momentum.
Teresa Amabiel's research backs this up. Feeling like you're making headway matters more than the objective size of the achievement.
Exactly. And you create that feeling partly by embedding meaning in the work, like Jobs recruiting Scully from Pepsi.
Sell sugar water for the rest of your life or change the world. Creating purpose drives progress.
So how can you structure your work or your teams to highlight those small, continuous wins? That feeling of forward motion is incredibly motivating.
And leading people through that progress. Finally, Law 32 challenges conventional wisdom. You must be an inconsistent leader. Inconsistent. Isn't consistency key?
That's what most books say. But Bartlett argues the truly great leaders adapt. They are inconsistent situationally. He uses Ferguson again and Patrice Evra's story.
The hairdryer treatment.
Ferguson tearing into Evra, his best player, in the locker room. Why? Not because Evra played badly, but to send a message to the whole team about standards, knowing Evra was strong enough to take it.
So Ferguson's genius wasn't just tactics. It was individualized psychological management.
Exactly. Understanding each player's unique triggers, motivations, insecurities, adapting his approach constantly. Rio Ferdinand said Ferguson wouldn't treat 2 players the same.
So a one-size-fits-all leadership style just doesn't work for inspiring diverse individuals.
Great leaders are fluid, flexible. They become whatever shape they need to be to motivate that specific person or team in that moment. Emotional management is crucial.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot. A deep dive into some really insightful laws from Steven Bartlett's The Diary of a CEO.
Yeah, principles for mastering yourself the buckets, teaching, belief change, then influencing others' absurdity, avoiding wallpaper, pissing people off constructively.
And adopting a powerful philosophy, sweating the small stuff, outfailing, facing reality, using pressure, and finally building teams, asking who, protecting culture, leveraging progress, and that inconsistent leadership.
It wasn't just a list of rules, was it? It felt more like a journey through these surprising stories and psychological insights, hopefully giving you a shortcut to being better informed, maybe inspired.
So what does this all mean for you? Bartlett really distills complex ideas into actionable wisdom. Maybe think. What's one small, unconventional step you could take this week, applying one of these laws?
Yeah, what seemingly bizarre behavior might actually unlock your next breakthrough.
Lots to think about. Until next time, keep digging deeper.